One of the common myths about day trading is that it's a way to get rich quickly. The barrier of entry is almost non-existent, so as long as you're 18 and have some extra money, you can technically begin trading today. Maybe you feel confident because of your math skills, prior success in school or work, or even proficiency in fast-paced video games. However, the reality is that day trading is one of the most difficult things to master. Most people who try it end up failing, regardless of their education or background, and today we're going to look at some of the main reasons why. This is not meant to discourage you from trading, but to paint a clearer picture of what high-level trading entails and why it's so hard to reach that level on your own. I hope that this video will help you to see the grim reality behind this incredibly lucrative career, and give you an idea of what you may need to do to reach that next level. The first reason people struggle to trade well is that they underestimate the work. It's believed that the US markets top around $300 billion of transactions every day. If you were to just consistently take one drop from that ocean, you would be rich in a month. Sounds easy, doesn't it? To the untrained eye, it looks easy too. Trading independently doesn't require you to get a degree, or put on a suit and tie, or exert yourself physically in order to do your job. You can learn from YouTube videos and concentrated practice, and as long as you have a little money to begin with, you can turn this into a full-time business for yourself. If you get good, you could be on your way to making six figures for clicking your mouse a few hours a day in the comfort of your bedroom. So why is it that almost no one is able to sustain this at a high level? The skill required to make a lot of money trading is beyond what the majority of day traders ever reach. To make even six figures requires a level of dedication similar to that of a professional athlete. When creating your strategy, if you're doing it right, you will be researching and backtesting dozens of ideas, each of which will depend on your own personal approach to the market. To make things worse, you most likely won't spend the time to find a mentor or craft a strategy that suits you. Without a proper guide, you might spend months studying something completely useless. Then, when you finally feel ready to trade, you might be spending more months practicing a strategy that was never viable to begin with. This process of repeatedly testing and practicing executing your strategy is only one part of the trading skill development phase. And to top it off, even when you don't get the results you're expecting, the problem often lies in the trader rather than the strategy. I've found that most people are just not willing to face this challenge for what it is. There's simply no shortcut. Just like mastering a skill in any other field, this process of mastering a good strategy, learning the behavior of the market, and becoming an elite trader can take upwards of 10,000 hours. It's not just about learning to make good trading decisions either. There is a long process of learning to manage your own psychology, stress, and outside life, similar to professional athletes who must keep themselves in peak shape at all times. The difference here is that while professional athletes are playing under contracts, you won't have one. You're not guaranteed a cent if you aren't able to perform. For this reason, a lot of traders simply can't dedicate the time while accepting that they might not make any money for months. Worrying about paying the bills makes it even tougher to work on trading psychology, which brings us to reason number 2. The second reason most people fail at day trading is that our human psychology actively works against us as traders. Our brains have evolved to make us great at a lot of things, but they are pretty terrible when it comes to things like trading. First, we've evolved to avoid risk whenever possible. We prefer certainty over uncertainty, even if the average payoff is the same. This means that during a trade, we are naturally less comfortable with accepting the risk involved. This is a feeling that lingers for most people regardless of their experience. And this feeling of discomfort in the face of heightened risk holds back more traders than you can imagine. We've also evolved to value information that coincides with our initial beliefs and to be less inclined to accept information that doesn't. Because of this, when we take lower quality trades, we are not as willing to recognize the clues that the market is about to change course. We hold on to our bad trades more and often take a bigger loss later, rather than accept that we took the wrong trade initially. Another disadvantage is that we tend to value information from recent events the most. This means that if we see something happen in the market today, we treat it as more relevant than something in the distant past. This leads to traders neglecting important knowledge about longer-term cycles and patterns, both in the charts and in themselves. Studies in visual perception have shown that this recency bias persists even when past events contain no information about the future. This can affect you deeply, and you may not even notice it at first. You'll behave differently because you became overconfident during a win streak, or hesitate out of fear when you get into a rut for a few days. Risk aversion, confirmation bias, recency bias, and others seem to have helped us survive as a species, but they now work against us as traders. To overcome them takes just as much dedication or more than learning your strategy inside out, and a lot of people just skip this step entirely. The third reason most people fail at day trading is that they treat it as gambling. What I've noticed is that most retail traders seem to go about trading the wrong way from the beginning. The issue of equating trading to gambling is perpetuated by both successful and unsuccessful traders. We've all heard a horror story of someone that put on too much risk and lost their house overnight. We've also heard about some college student putting his life savings into GameStop or Tesla stock and becoming a multimillionaire. These stories are easily sensationalized, and they continue to solidify the myth that trading is like buying lottery tickets or playing roulette. When you get into trading with this approach, you're effectively standing in your own way with regards to your skill development. Traders with this mindset create strategies that are often generalized and basic and destined for failure. They assume that market movement is mostly random and that the market will reward or penalize them in unpredictable ways. As a result, their trading decisions end up looking more like a coin flip. This line of thinking causes them to adopt a rigid approach with respect to their trades, even though market conditions are frequently fluctuating and trends come in different sizes. Instead of adapting to the changes in each trading session, these traders chalk up their losses to bad luck or some other force that they cannot control. Still, with good risk management, some of them can find success, similar to the roulette player that doesn't risk too much on each bet. But success of this nature is often fleeting. Market conditions have changed in the past and will change again. A strategy that was working in one market may not work well in another. Before you know it, your once profitable strategy is losing every day, and it becomes a test of your patience and mental stamina. Are you willing to sit through days or weeks of losses while waiting for things to turn around? Most people don't like this side of trading, but it happens to everyone during the learning process. Chances are, you will stop using that strategy at some point and try something else. This process will repeat itself until the most common conclusion, burning out or running out of capital and giving up. While a minority of lucky gamblers do make money this way, their occasional success helps the myth endure. This all amounts to a largely misled population of traders, struggling to maintain profitability and continuing to gamble while focusing on risk management. They never seem to realize that the issue lies in their approach to the markets themselves. At DojiDojo, we stress the idea of continuous improvement and accountability rather than relying on luck. Instead of just forgetting the loss and moving on, study the market when your trades go against you. Figure out the mistake you made when preparing for your trade and constantly adapt your strategy to take advantage of the lesson if there is one. In time, you can break away from the crowd in your own way and master a strategy that will produce profits in any market condition. This is what we consider trading mastery, the foundation of what we hope to teach here. What's been your biggest obstacle in trading this year? Tell us about it in the comments below, and we might address some of them in a future video. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you haven't already, and we will continue to bring you high-quality trading content in the future.